Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and coming up, we're going to react to a new Mel Kiper mock draft. It's his final one in the lead-up to the 2025 NFL Draft at the end of April. 2 rounds to talk about here, and obviously the Niners have some premium draft capital, so we'll see who Kiper, the lead NFL draft analyst for ESPN, has going to San Francisco at number 11 and number 43. Before we do that, this is why you subscribe to the channel, because this Mel Kiper mock draft is only available on ESPN Plus. That is a subscription service that costs $120 per year. Here on the 49ers Report on YouTube, we don't charge you anything. We're not behind a paywall. All of our coverage is free. That's $0 per year. So hit that sub button. We're approaching 160,000 subs, and if you want Niners shows every single day year-round, I have you covered. Lock us in today. And I do want to begin on this note. What a huge draft this is coming up for the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are equipped with 11 picks, including a premium selection at number 11 where they can get a game-changing player. And San Francisco has 4 picks inside the top 100 and 6 picks in the first 4 rounds. They are very thin at a lot of different positions. They need a lot of quality players. This is their opportunity to stack up this roster. And the Niners this offseason have let older players walk. They've shedded salary, all to get younger and build through the draft. Now it's time for the Niners to nail the 2025 draft, because the future of this organization hinges on this draft class and the 2026 draft class. And when you build through the draft, what does it do? It allows you to replenish talent, and you have young players on cost-controlled, affordable contracts. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, it's time for you to go to work and crush the 2025 draft. So without further ado, let's take a look at the picks leading up to the Niners selection at number 11. Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami, to the Titans at number 1. Travis Hunter, wide receiver and corner out of Colorado, to the Browns there at number 2. Abdul Carter, the number 1 player on my board, goes to the Giants at number 3. If that happens, they have a really talented front 4. Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU, going early to the Patriots at number 4. Mason Graham, we've talked about him here on the show, defensive tackle out of Michigan, to the Jaguars at number 5. Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State, to the Raiders at number 6. I think the Raiders are looking at Jeanty and potentially saying, we're in a spot where all of his carries can matter throughout the next 4 or 5 years. Let's get maybe the safest player in this draft who can end up being a really talented running back. Armand Membu, my number 1 offensive tackle in this class, gets claimed by the Jets with the number 7 overall pick. He was stellar at Mizzou against some top-tier competition in the SEC. Jalen Walker, another one of my guys, edge rusher and off-ball linebacker. Love the versatility out of Georgia. He goes to the Panthers at number 8. Shadur Sanders to Kellen Moore and the Saints at number 9. This would give him an opportunity to potentially develop for a year behind Derek Carr. Tyler Warren, all-world tight end out of Penn State, who has unbelievable versatility and a great skill set to his game, to the Bears at number 10 to give Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams another weapon. And then the Niners go Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, with the 11th overall pick. And a lot of NFL draft analysts and experts in the lead up to the draft at the end of this month don't have the Niners going offensive line. They don't have the Niners going defensive line. They have the Niners going corner, and I slightly disagree. I think the defensive line is a little bit more important. I think there are really good defensive tackles and edge rushers who could be available for the Niners to pick at number 11. But there's an argument to be made that Will Johnson, if he lasts until 11 overall, could be the best player available. Here's what Mel Kiper had to say about the Michigan corner, who's a big-time playmaker on the outside. There's well-documented roster turnover in San Francisco right now, and Charvarius Ward is among the departures. Renardo Green is one of the outside starting spots, but what will the Niners do at the other? Could slot guy Deommodore Lenoir move outside? Will new signee Tre Brown earn the role and stay healthy? Or could this be a golden chance to land a potential shutdown cornerback 1 in Johnson? He missed time last year because of a toe injury, and he slid from the top 5 to number 12 overall on my big board, but the talent is undeniable. He's big, 6'2", and his instincts and ball skills show up in the box scores. He had 9 interceptions over his Michigan career, including 2 pick sixes last year. The Niners had 11 total INTs a year ago. That was tied for 19th. And in scouting Will Johnson, it could make sense for why the Niners go this route. They lost Charvarius Ward. He got $20 million per year from the Indianapolis Colts in 2023. He was a second-team All-Pro. Now with Deommodore Lenoir, he's really good on the outside. He's one of the most underrated players in the NFL. He's elite on the inside. So he's bordering on becoming an All-Pro, Pro Bowl level player on the outside. He's one of the top slot nickel corners in the NFL on the inside. So the Niners do have some options there. He's a little bit shorter. You can continue to run him on the outside with Renardo Green on the other side, or you could go Will Johnson, Renardo Green, then Deommodore Lenoir in the slot. Now, when I scout Will Johnson, 6'2", 194 pounds, what you can't deny is the great size and athleticism at that corner spot. And he's pretty physical for his size as well. Former 5-star top 20 player in his high school class. He's big, fluid, a ton of ball production while at Michigan at that cornerback position. That's because he's very instinctive. He has really good body control, good change of direction, short area quickness. I think those are important traits at the cornerback spot. He can play man, he can play zone, but he's better with his eyes forward because that caters to his strengths of making plays on the ball, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and being able to break toward the football while it's in the air. He is a thief in coverage. For instance, 2 interceptions last year, both of them came back for pick sixes. But he does have to measure that aggressiveness a little bit. You know, when I watched Asante Samuel back in the day with the Patriots and with the Eagles, he was a big-time player at corner. He was what we call a gambler, meaning he'd read the eyes of the quarterback, and he would make plays for the football, trying to come through with the big play. That's why he was an interception artist and had so many pick sixes and big turnovers forced. But at times, he would bite on those plays. Teams would know that. They'd give him a shimmy and a pump fake, a double move. He'd get beat. So you do have to measure that aggressiveness a little bit, because if you do bite and you have that track record of doing so, you can take yourself out of the play and you can get beat. But Will Johnson, that's part of his strength. That's part of his special ability, is making plays on the football and game-changing plays throughout the course of a game. He reads and anticipates routes. He does sometimes lack recovery speed. That can be an issue when he's overly aggressive, but he is looked at as a very safe pick with high upside whose skills translate well to the next level. And when I evaluate corners, I need them to have instincts. I need them to play with feel. You can go out there, run a 4-2, 4-3. Can you track the ball? Can you read the eyes of the quarterback? Can you read the footwork and the routes and the body direction of the wide receiver? Do you have instincts, feel to make plays on the rock? Will Johnson does. Renardo Green does. Deommodore Lenoir does. Charvarius Ward did for the Niners. So the Niners look at that cornerback spot in a very similar way. And yes, San Francisco has massive needs along the defensive line and offensive line. If they go corner in round 1, you can still get a really good defensive tackle in round 2, and then you can get some high-quality offensive linemen, I think, in round 3, round 4, round 5. But outside of defensive line and offensive line, yeah, cornerback is definitely a need. And Johnson at number 11 may be the best player available. Now, in 2024, only played in those 6 games because of that toe injury. He did say he's going to work out for teams. That news breaking on this Tuesday. In those 6 games, 2 picks, both were pick sixes for that Michigan defense. So that's the big-time playmaking ability that he has at that cornerback position. In 2024, the coverage numbers did not give up a touchdown in coverage, was targeted 26 times, gave up 16 catches for a $195. In addition to those 2 picks, he also had 5 pass breakups. What you also like to see the quarterback rating when targeted, only 52.6. A larger body of work in 2023 when him and Mikey Sainristil were excellent corners for that Michigan team that won the Natty. In 12 games played, he was targeted 37 times. He only gave up 17 catches, 267 yards. Once again, did not give up a touchdown in coverage. So the last 2 years, didn't surrender a touchdown while dropping back in coverage. That year, he had 4 picks with 8 pass breakups. And in a larger body of work, the quarterback rating was 30.9. And he ended up being every bit of the 5-star top 20 player that he was ranked as coming out of high school and everything that Michigan envisioned. There was a long body of work here in 2022. We didn't talk about those numbers yet. 2 TFL, 6 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions. So in his career, 32 games played, ladies and gentlemen, 19 pass breakups, 9 picks, and 3 touchdowns. And when evaluating and looking at this Niners cornerback room, again, you have some optionality with what you want to do with Deommodore Lenoir. He played mostly on the outside last year, and so I'm going to list him on the outside. Mel Kiper didn't, but I'm going to say Lenoir and Green are your outside perimeter corners. Right now, you don't have a slot nickel. You're not taking Will Johnson to be a slot nickel at number 11. Right now, that's Tre Brown, who's a former 4th-round pick who hasn't panned out previously with Seattle, now with the Niners. So if you go Johnson, I think that signals that Lenoir could move to the inside. So with that, I do ask you this. It's a pass-happy league. Do you like the thought of going corner to stop passing attacks at number 11? L for like, D for dislike. Join the conversation down below. Today's 49ers Report, sponsored by our friends at Game Time, the best app in the ticketing marketplace. They specialize in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed, and they give you the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. With some of the Game Time functions, you can save up to 60% off of your tickets, and prices drop as the event gets closer. It's not just an app for sporting events. By the way, you can go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. The San Francisco Giants off to a really good start here in the early portion of the 2025 Major League Baseball season. And if you want to check out a Giants game by McCovey Cove, one of the more unique stadiums in all of Major League Baseball, plenty of tickets available. The Warriors are hot since the Jimmy Butler trade, closing in on the NBA playoffs. You want to go to a playoff game at the Chase Center in San Francisco, you can do that as well. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. That's code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. First purchase only for $20 off. All right, so Mel Kiper goes Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, to the Niners at number 11. Who do the Niners go with in the second round? Here are the players who go before the Niners are on the clock. Tyler Shough, quarterback out of Louisville, to the Browns at 33. That would be a shocker. Jalen Milroe, another quarterback. That, too, would be a shocker. To the Giants at 34 to back up Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Oluwafemi Oladeju. The Niners are said to like the player. He goes earlier than what a lot of people anticipate. The edge rusher out of UCLA to the Titans here at 35. Emeka Egbuka. Safe play here. To the Jags at number 36. Star wide receiver out of Ohio State. Carson Schweichinger. A lot of you in the California area, you're very familiar with this game. To the Raiders at number 37. Luther Burden, I think people are sleeping on him. To the Patriots at number 38, Drake May gets a really good young wide receiver. Walter Nolan, a player who I like for San Francisco. To the Bears at number 39. Azareye'h Thomas, former teammate of Renardo Green. To the Saints at number 40. Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State, to the Bears at 41. Elijah Arroyo, seam-stretching tight end, to the Jets at number 42. And then here you go. To the Niners with the 43rd overall pick in the second round of the 2025 NFL Draft, defensive tackle Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Now, here on this show, we've talked a lot about Mason Graham to the Niners at number 11. If the Niners trade up for a player like that, Kenneth Grant is Mason Graham's running mate from Michigan. Here's what Kiper had to say about Grant. who I look at as a boomer bust project. He could end up being one of the top players in this draft. He could end up being a bust. Kiper saying Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins were let go. Grant would clog up the middle in their place. He's 6'4", 331 pounds, and has explosiveness and good instincts to his game. Hitting on day 2 picks would help San Francisco replenish its roster and remain a contender in the NFC. Grant has the potential to immediately contribute in a big way. Now, Grant at times has been overshadowed a bit by the man who was flanked to his side in Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham can end up being one of the top players in this class. He doesn't have the size or the athletic ability, even sometimes the potential of Kenneth Grant, but on tape, a much more consistent player. Now, against Ohio State in that upset win for Michigan, Grant played well against an Ohio State offensive line that's going to see multiple offensive linemen go in the first couple of rounds of the draft, but he's too inconsistent on tape sometimes. Now, at 6'4", 331 pounds, he is massive. He can play nose tackle. He can play defensive tackle. He can line up a couple of different spots in offloaded fronts. He has good tape sometimes, excellent tape sometimes. Sometimes he has bad tape, and you're wondering at the college level, at 331 pounds and 6'4", with that explosiveness, why does he sometimes go missing? But he does have power and length to defeat blocks. He has really heavy hands. He can pack a punch. He's a powerful striker, but at times he can lack explosiveness, and he's too inconsistent. This is a player who I would like to see enter the Niners player development program with defensive line coach Chris Kocurek and Robert Saleh. They're great coaches, and they can bring the best out of a player with the upside of Grant. And he might end up being a better pro than a college player because everything is there as far as size. And the highs are high, but sometimes, yeah, the lows can be a little bit low. Kenneth Grant is a player who has to put it together. And if he does, he can be that impact player along the interior defensive line for San Francisco, and we all know they need it. Last year in 2024, 32 tackles, only 7 TFLs. There is some sack production there with 3.5 sacks last year. He did have 27 pressures. That's a good number. I also like the pass breakup numbers there. Anytime you're a big body defensive lineman and you can leap up and bat down a pass, those are altering plays. And you look at what he did the last 2 years as he started to play a lot more. Again, the sack production, not bad. 3 sacks in 2024, 3.5 sacks in 2023. He did have 27 and 23 pressures the last couple of years. And the pass breakups, 5 each of the last 2 years. So those are instincts right there. And I do think the Niners have to address defensive line early in the draft because if they were to play a game right now, this is their starting defensive line. It's a problem. It's a bottom 5 overall unit in the NFL. Nick Bosa is one of the top defensive players in the game. But outside of him, you have Jordan Elliott and Evan Anderson manning the defensive tackle spots, and you have Turgros Matos on the other side of Bosa. You have Sam Okuano as a backup. I like him as a backup. But at this point, you need him to play a lot. And backing up Nick Bosa, Drake Jackson, who might not play again because of the patellar tendon injury in his knee. You have Alex Barrett, and you have Robert Beal, who up to this point hasn't done anything. The backup defensive tackles, Kevin Givens and Kalia Davis. And so the Niners are pressured to hit on multiple picks in this draft. And those players are going to have to be high-level players because that is a bad defensive line right there. Going back to Grant's athleticism, at the NFL Combine, measured in at 6'3", 331 pounds, he leaped 31 inches on the vertical, and at 331 pounds, he can run 5'1", 40-yard dash. Pretty damn good right there, and sometimes does have that short area quickness, as evidenced by the 10-yard split, and that's important for interior defensive linemen trying to beat those blocks at the snap of the football. So, grade the Mel Kiper Niners mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off with what you think. Share your opinions with me. And don't forget to subscribe.